if you do 100 crunches a day, you're going to get abs within 30 days. Except you won't, because it's bullshit. Okay, so as I just said, that workout that this random influencer on TikTok who's telling you to do 100 crunches and all these V-ups, whatever, is not going to be what gets you abs. I can guarantee it. But luckily for you, I'm going to break down what actually might help you get abs if that is what your goal is at this time, okay? So I'm going to split this into different sections. The first section I'm going to go through is nutrition. So first things first, we need to understand why you see abs. And that's just because you have a body fat percentage which is low enough for your abs to be visible. Now, everyone has abdominal muscles, okay? So don't even say, I don't have muscle there. You do, you just can't see it, okay? So here's our body fat scale. You've got 30%, so maybe the slightly higher ends, and 0%, and that's the point of death because it's so low. You don't really want that, okay? Abs will be visible closer towards the 0, yes, but you don't need to be at 5% to see abs, okay? You're probably looking at between 15 and 10%, okay? So it is attainable. It just might be a bit of hard work to get there. Now, how does this affect nutrition? Because I said this is about nutrition originally. So if you are on the higher ends of the body fat scale, you need calorie deficit. So you need to be consuming less calories than you're burning in energy each day, okay? So calorie deficit, okay? Now, as you can imagine, that's not easy, but there's many ways you can do this. That's just the usual weight loss tips. If you want to see more about weight loss, and check some of my videos out previously. This isn't a weight loss tutorial. This is just telling you what might be the case if you can't see your abs, okay? So if you can't see your abs, it's likely because your body fat percentage is too high, and then this is what you need to do to lower it, okay? The other side of things is that people will be telling me in the comments, I'm sure, that doing these TikTok influencer workouts will grow the size of the muscle of your abs. Now, you can grow the abs like any other muscle. So if I said to you, I'm going to grow my chest, am I going to do 200 reps worth of chest in my workout? The answer is no, I'm fucking not, okay? Your abs are exactly the same. So if you're looking to train muscle size, you should train the abs in the exact same way, okay? Which brings us on to our next section, which is training. So instead of doing 100 different crunches or variations of all of that stuff, you're much better off doing a couple of movements, for example, a hanging leg raise, and you're much better off doing your standard rep range you would for hypertrophy, so anywhere from 8 to 15, and just doing those reps nice and slow, nice and controlled, progressing them each week, and you'll be much happier, okay? So if you can see your abs, so you're on the lower side of the body fat, but you want to increase the size of them, and that is hypertrophy, okay? Now, to actually increase the size of the muscle, you may need to be in a calorie surplus. So that is where you're consuming more calories than you're burning. Now, obviously, you're going to want to keep an eye on this because obviously if the surplus goes too far that way, you're going up body fat or you won't see abs at all. But if you are looking to increase the size of the ab muscles themselves, then you need to be training them like any other muscle, hypertrophy, and making sure you're in a calorie surplus. Okay, so I just want to focus a little bit more on the training side of things and how different exercises may appear similar, but they can have slightly different purposes for you when it comes to ab training versus core training. So ab training is what we're talking about is aesthetically, okay? Now, as I've mentioned previously, a lot of the standard exercises like your crunches, your twists, your V-ups aren't the best for this, and they don't have much transfer over to the core, in my personal opinion, okay? Core exercises, if you're going to do any of them between abs and core, focus on core. We'll go into the middle in a second. Core exercises such as your ab rollout and your pull-off press and your loaded carries are great for developing that core strength because you have to essentially resist something or you're putting your body in a difficult position to maintain. But especially in the pull-off press and loaded carries example, we're not taking things through a full range of motion, which is obviously beneficial for hypertrophy and building muscle, okay? So if you're looking to get the best of both worlds, you're probably looking at something a little bit different than those two. And that's where this middle section of the Venn diagram comes in, because you've got your hanging leg raise, which is HLR, so now space to write it. You've got your weighted sit-ups and your plank pull-throughs, okay? All of these, you can progress quite easily. Hanging leg raises, you can easily add reps. You can easily slow it down. You can start on hanging knee raises, so there's easy entry-level movements in there for you as well, okay? You can even use a weighted belt and you can actually load up hand and leg raises a little bit as well. You can load up weighted sit-ups, you can load these heavy, so we're getting the strength element, and obviously adding load, progressing reps, time and attention is good for hypertrophy too. And then plank pull through is another example of this as well. Maybe this is slightly more focused towards core, but it definitely has a function for both. Another honorable mention, it can be your kneeling cable crunch, could fit in the both column, or anything else off the top of my head. There's loads. If you don't know, weighted dead bugs is another one. If you have a question about any exercise, ask me in the comments and I'll tell you which one I think it fits into. But hopefully this is just a nice overview, if you can read it, but I have mentioned everything that's on there. A good overview of whilst these exercises may appear similar, they can have slightly different functions, and exercise selection can be important when it comes to training.
Okay, so quick side note is that I realised that I didn't actually mention that maybe the best core training of all is if you're doing your compound lifts, like your deadlifts, squats, rows, nice and heavy, and you're doing them well, you're going to be getting some great core training from that anyway. So the Venn diagram is assuming you do these already, but if you're not, then lift heavy.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of this video. So the main thing I want you to take away is that if you currently can't see your abs, they are there, but you need to do some work, especially on the nutrition side of things, to make sure you're getting calorie deficit to drop some body fat, okay? So that's your number one goal. So that's should be your focus, okay? If you can see your abs and you're not happy with the size of your abs, then you need to focus on maybe being on a slight surplus and training them like any other muscle from a hypertrophy point of view. Whatever your goal is, I want you to avoid I'll call them the TikTok style exercises of 100 crunches, 100 V-ups. Those workouts should be avoided at all costs because they're not going to be conducive to whatever goal you have, okay? If you're looking to improve your core strength, which we've covered is different to abs, then there's a different set of exercises you can use to refer back to the Venn diagram, okay? Whatever situation you're in and you're thinking about either your core or your abs or anything like that, use this video to determine what plan of action you should take. So I hope you enjoyed that video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. If you want to see more things like this where I debunk myths and call out the biggest scams in the industry, let me know and I'll see you very, very soon.